So if you were to walk outside today and pick up a handful of random bugs, if that's something you like to do, maybe you don't, but if you did, you'd find about half of them contained bacteria with a little virus in it named woe. Now, woe is very interesting because for the longest time, it always had to go where the bacteria went. It could never escape the confines of its host. And then one day, when it was stuck riding around inside of a black widow spider, it watched in amazement as this spider would bite creatures 10 or even 100 times its size and just bring them to their knees. What's amazing about that is that the spider's toxin is so toxic to these creatures that it literally explodes their cells. And so little woe did something clever. It actually copied the gene for spider's venom and incorporated it into itself, and that's how it escapes the cells. And so now it could go from one insect to the next with very little effort. So woe essentially evolved by duplicating or copying the traits it needed to survive and thrive. And we see this in nature all the time. It's what we call evolution. And it's been going on for billions of years, and it's how nature sustains itself. And without that constant change and adaptation, we wouldn't survive, right? Just like the dinosaurs, when they got hit with that meteor a long time ago, they couldn't adapt fast enough. So that's why they actually died out. And the same thing holds true for business. Take a look at through history. You have the printing press, the Industrial Revolution, you have cars, you have phones, computers, and the list goes on and on and on. But if you look at, in the scheme of things, in the last 5 or 10 years, there's been a heck of a lot of innovation and a lot of change in that compressed time period. And we've seen an acceleration of that. And the reason that is because of technology. Technology has this compounding effect, right? So Airbnb, started by 3 guys who was renting out their room. They went on to become larger than the top 5 hotel chains worldwide combined. Think about the size of that. And you have Spotify and Uber, both household names. We stream about a billion hours of Netflix each week in the US alone. Streaming has literally overtaken cable and movies and changed them, and it's never gonna stop. You take a look at when a little while ago that you wanted to rent a movie, right? You'd have to go to Blockbuster. Well, Blockbuster goes down in history as the poster child for bad decisions. They actually could have bought Netflix for $50 million. Netflix is now worth $250 billion, so that was a very, very large mistake. But what really did Blockbuster in actually wasn't Netflix. It was actually the vending machines that were put in these convenient locations. Walgreens, Walmart, CVS. They put these vending machines there with DVDs, and people were able to rent from them. Bringing convenience to patients and consumers is really the hallmark of a good company. And so they were put out of business by them. Netflix just came and finished the deal. They actually put the vending machines out of business because who wants to even leave their home now, right? You don't even have to go to the vending machines. And we see this even in online shopping. Amazon, right? Alibaba, this company's massive. They make Amazon look like a lemonade stand. They did $60 billion on a single day, in a single half-hour period last year on their Singles Day. You could buy cars online. You could buy a car for 1 Bitcoin. About 10 years ago, there was a guy who actually spent 10,000 Bitcoins on 2 pizzas to be delivered to his home. In today's terms, that would be like spending $500 million to get 2 Papa John's pizzas delivered. When you think about, when you can wrap your mind around just how much change has occurred in the past 10 years, you kind of get it, right? And this change has only accelerated with the pandemic. In the past few months even, online shopping has actually doubled in size. You look at it prior to the pandemic, people were making in-person purchases all the time. Now that has been cut in half. So everybody has changed, and this change is going on right in front of your face. It's going on in dentistry too. You take a look at clear aligners. I was just talking to a company yesterday who says that now you don't even have to go in for your in-between appointments. You just scan it at home with your smartphone. So it's incredible the rate of change. You have teledentistry. You have maybe you don't even need a dentist, right? Because you have people on TikTok and Facebook who are trying to tell you what to do. There was this one woman on TikTok who actually told her followers that if you had a tooth to replace, you could just go to Amazon, buy these plastic beads, melt them down, put them in your teeth. like advice that we all want to listen to, but this is actually what her followers did. And you know, and you look at other things like retail dentistry, right? Retail dentistry is bringing dental offices right into Walgreens, CVS, and Walmart, just like the vending machines. So you got to wonder who's the blockbuster in this story, right? And no one sets out to be Blockbuster, right? You don't decide one day that, hey, I want to be Blockbuster. No, it just happens. One day, maybe you didn't pay attention to change. Maybe you were very comfortable and you couldn't, and you didn't want to change. Maybe you didn't know how to change, but it doesn't matter because you have to change at this point. There's no getting around it. And the easiest way for you to do that is to look at the more successful companies out there and take some of their great qualities and bring them down to what you do in your dental office. What these tech companies have in common, the three most common things that they have are, first, they always engage and retain their customer base, right? So in terms of an office, it's your patient base, right? So you want to do that. The easiest way to do that is with products. When you could provide home care to patients, you are literally becoming part of their life. And I know this because I spent the last decade of my life in e-commerce, and I've sold millions and millions of products all across the world. The second thing that you want to do is really control your brand and your pricing, right? For too long, dentists have accepted insurance and allowed those companies and other companies to kind of brand and put their brand in front of their patients, but insurance companies shouldn't be setting your pricing. You want to control that. The successful companies never let anybody set their pricing. They always set it themselves. And the best way for you to do that is to have a membership plan. If you don't have one, start it up. It's not very expensive, pretty easy to do. And the third and final thing that you want to do is always try to accommodate new patient preferences, appeal to new patient preference, see what's happening on the horizon. So right now, online services. Providing anything for your patients to do online is better than doing it through a phone call or something else. Maybe some patients want to call in, but a lot of them want to do it online. So if you have an online option for buying a new patient special, you should have it. If you could click on it, you should have a buy button next to it. Now you would think all this stuff is hard to do, but it actually isn't very difficult to do nowadays because you're building technology on top of technology. The company I founded actually provides this technology in a simple, single solution for you. So really what you want to do is you want to take advantage of that and incorporate these changes into your practice so that you could grow just like these other companies do. COVID was really an inflection point. If you take a look at what happened last year, it took maybe about 60 months of growth that was expected to happen in about a course of a term, 60 months, and it compressed that down into 3 months' time. It's literally like the meteor coming crashing down into Earth and wiping out the dinosaurs. That is the level of change that we've experienced with COVID. So now is the time to change. You can't be afraid of it. You can't wait around for it. You just have to lean into that change and evolve. Thank you.